chief of the military. And that is your duty with the police department. My instructions will be very clear, very simple. There will be no profiling in Waukegan while I am there. No one will be pulled over because of how they look, or the car that they drive, or the music that they happen to be playing. People will be pulled over because they're breaking the law. And it's as simple as it needs to be. We have to make sure that our police understand that. When we find instances where they break that, they will be dealt with in the proper and legal fashion. But I agree with Greg. Citizens need to be involved. And what we need to do as a community is to form a commission of residents who can help address this problem, who can help discuss these issues with our police department to make them understand where they're coming from. And as the mayor of Waukegan, I will make sure that we do that on a regular basis. Because it's all about getting to understand one another, getting rid of old prejudices, and bringing in new understanding so that we can work together. You can't have a community where the police department keeps a large part of the people that live there in fear. No community
Administration. Waukegan's application for the 287G certification has been denied, and the county is seeking certification now. What would you do as mayor to ensure that the city will have input in any memorandum of understanding to be drafted between the county and the federal government? How will your position affect Waukegan immigrants trying to make a living without documentation? And we'll first go to you, Robert.
Well, I think 287G is unnecessary. I've spoken with police officers, and I won't name them, I won't identify them, but they all said that they really didn't want it. It served no purpose. So I will not move forward with requesting 287G. It's not really required, and I'll explain why. If someone is arrested for a crime and taken to the Lake County Jail, the process goes like this. Their name is put forward into a system that identifies them as being a potential illegal. Now, the sheriff forwards that to immigration. Right away, they don't even wait to see whether that person is guilty of a crime. And that's for all people who go to the jail, no matter what they're there for. I don't believe in that. I think a law like that should only be used for people who are a real danger to the community. Nobody wants felons, violent people in their neighborhoods, whether they're Hispanic, African American, or white. We all feel that way. We do not want that. So, I don't think Waukegan needs it. It's already in place. If you're arrested for a crime, you're found guilty, you go to jail. If you're an illegal alien, you still serve your sentence in the United States of America jail system. But what happens after that is, you are then identified, taken out by ICE, taken to a holding location, and then returned to your country of origin. That's already in place. 287G would have no impact on that whatsoever. I don't think it's a good fit.
I'm sorry, Robert. Thank you. Next, Greg, please.
287G was a lawsuit against the implementation of it. Consequently, I believe it was shelved. So obviously, the costs and the controversy associated with that ordinance have deemed it, for the time being, to be shelved. And that's a good thing, because in light of the current economic situation, we have enough obstacles and challenges before us. We don't need to be delving into this as well. Obviously, like Bob mentioned, we do want safe communities. We want people who are abiding by the law and following the rules. And our administration will do that. We will ensure that. And when people are not, and they are not legal immigrants, we will work with the federal agencies to make sure that they are.
Waukegan residents have recently been featured on radio and television complaining of excessive police force. Without addressing the legitimacy of accusations, how would you investigate allegations of abuse, restructure the procedure for filing complaints, and restore public confidence in the Waukegan Police Department? And Greg, we'd start with you.
I mentioned earlier the citizens' actions groups to become more involved in policing and the evaluation of these types of activities. The current police officer, or correctly, commander is being replaced in the near future. So to work with this new commander to make sure that we start with a clean slate, that we put aside some of the history that we all know of abuse, and get it right this time within the police department and the communities, and make sure that if there is a violation that comes to our attention of police abuses, that we can react swiftly and get the community abreast of how it's being evaluated so that it doesn't escalate. Thank you.
Thank you, Graham. Robert, please.
Yes. Well, the police are governed by the civilian branch of the government, the mayor. They basically are good soldiers. They do as they're told to do by their leadership. We have good police in this community. What we don't have is good leadership. You need a mayor who will tell them. What you need to do is respect the rights of the individuals, that you won't go overboard in violence, you won't use heavy-handed police tactics. As mayor, I will make sure that doesn't happen. Now, one thing I'd like to see is a police review board, if I understand the current makeup, has 3 individuals on it. I think that needs to be expanded to 5. I don't know how a review board can function with 3 people. It just doesn't seem to make sense for any committee or commission to use just 3. I think it needs to be 5. I think we also need to involve our citizenry in these issues. When we have a case that's brought forward to us for police, for whether it's abuse of power, whether it is somebody that is pulled over for no reason that they feel, we need to have a citizens advisory group on that. But I also want to make sure that it's made up of people who are there to legitimately address the issues, that it doesn't get out of hand and become something that is basically a tool of revenge. Because if we do that, then the police won't trust us, and it has to work both ways.
To introduce, and Mayor, what would you like me to call you? Dick? Mr. Hyde? What?
Whatever.
Well, give me a name.
Dick.
Dick, thank you. Dick and Mr. Hyde has the right going to just continue the program, and hopefully, Dick, you can catch up and tell us what you need to tell us throughout the answering of questions and in the closing statement. So, we are on a question having to do with Civil Service Commission. Although we were just finishing this one question, Mr. Hyde, I'm going to give you an opportunity to answer at the end since you came in as we were finishing answering that one question. The question is this. Waukegan residents have recently been featured on radio and television complaining of excessive police force. Without addressing the legitimacy of the accusations, how would you investigate allegations of abuse, restructure the procedure for filing complaints, and restore public confidence in the Waukegan Police Department? Dick, if you would.
Well, first of all, before I go on, I'd like to just say I was down at the state basketball tournament, and what Waukegan did take second place in the state. People have to remember, there's only 3 schools in Lake County that have ever gone as far as Waukegan has gone. 3 schools. That's Warren and Zion, and both took second in the state tournament, and Waukegan did too. Wasn't for a bad quarter, first quarter last night, they could have won it. But our kids, we had maybe about 400 or 500 fans down there, which was great. We just had the assembly over at East Campus, and there were about 400 or 500 people over there. And it's great for the city of Waukegan, but more important...
Answer the question.
Please.
Don't worry, I'll get to it.
That's all.
The question, okay, you want the Civil Service Commission, is that what it was?
No, it had to do with police.
Oh, okay, the police. First of all, you got the finest police force in Lake County. The best. There isn't anybody that even comes close. There's going to be, every time that you have something go wrong, a shooting or anything, someone's got to